Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the second Rail Nation live stream, featuring my colleague Bruno.
Hi, welcome everybody.
If you haven't joined us on the first one, this one is the first, technically the second one, but the first of our series where we will meet people from the Rail Nation team. And we're starting off with our game designer. Before we get into introducing Bruno and letting you get to know a bit about what he does on a daily basis and things that he's done over the last few months, over the years in which he's been with Rail Nation, we're going to start with just quickly going through our schedule for today. It's already on the screen. It's the other side of Bruno. I can't actually point over there. It's a bit difficult. But we'll go through the first of all, we're working our way through a refresher on what we are experiencing currently on the Platform X Titans of Economy. If you didn't see the first live stream, there was some incredible features that have been added to Platform X, and we're going to run through those again, and also some of the changes that have happened in between round 1 and round 2. As well as that, we will then go on to a little bit of a chat between me and Bruno so that you can get to know him a bit more, and I'll introduce you to some of the works that he's done over the last few months that you might have an opinion of, or you might have experienced personally whilst you're playing. And then we will give you the opportunity to actually ask Bruno questions directly. So we will set aside some nice time for you to be able to ask your questions, and if you have any interesting topics, feel free to drop them in the chat for us, and then we'll go and read through them as the stream progresses, and then Bruno will be able to answer them from. And then at the end we have a bit of a surprise, and if you stick around right into the end, I truly think that you will benefit from what we have to say right at the end. Apologies. But just before we go ahead and get things kicked off, I just want to kind of let you have a bit of feedback that you all gave me from last stream, and that was because the stream's in English. Some of you said that you struggled, which completely understand, 100% agree that if you're not an English speaker, it's sometimes really difficult to understand somebody such as myself who does occasionally speak really fast. I apologize. It's made a bit worse when I'm under pressure, particularly on a stream. But I will try my best to slow down, to try and make it a little bit clearer for you to understand exactly what I'm saying. My colleague, Bruno, actually speaks German, so if you have a question in German, feel free to ask the question in German. However, Bruno will respond in English, unless it's a pretty small answer, and then if it's not a detailed answer, then Bruno will tell you it in German. But for those of you who don't understand English and you have been struggling, last stream you all brought up the topic of maybe have some of the automated translation subtitles on. Ordinarily, on a normal video, that is perfectly fine. Unfortunately, YouTube hasn't enabled that feature for live streams. So what that means is we will have to take the VOD from this stream today and send it off to be edited, and then we can re-upload the highlights and enable the auto subtitles for you. So you might struggle today understanding what we're saying, but I promise we will do an edit for you, and on that edit you'll be able to use subtitles to have a better understanding of what we're saying. So with all that said, I suggest that we get into the first topic, which is going through the wonderful Platform X Titans of Economy. So let's shift through to the highlights. It's going to be a little bit different from what we did last time. It's still the same, some of the same content as before, but the difference here is I now have Bruno. Bruno has a lot more knowledge than me. Bruno is the one who designed these features, and Bruno can give you a better understanding of exactly how they should be played and how they work together, whereas I go off of my experience of them, which admittedly, Bruno, unfortunately, is not anywhere near as much time as you've spent on them. July has been a very busy month, needless to say, but Bruno can give you some some better understanding of these features. So the first one's pretty straightforward, but before we go through that, if you haven't played Titans of Economy, or you have no idea what Platform X is, it is essentially a new concept realm, so where we kind of throw in new features and change the way the game should be played. And from those changes, if the community likes them, or if the community really kind of takes to them and they blend well and they work out as we plan, they have the potential to join Classic Worlds. And this is why some of the features that we're talking about here, you won't see at the moment on any of our Classic or any other scenarios. It's just Platform X, Titans of Economy. So we'll go through them. Hopefully you'll have a chance to actually go and play those servers and those realms, and give us your feedback on them. For the first one is every association in Platform X, Titans of Economy, starts off with 25 association slots. So you can play with your friends from the start instead of having to invest and open up those slots. And I know personally from my experience, if I have a set group of people that I like to play with, it's more than most important thing above everything else is for me to actually play with those from the start and kind of support one another all the way through the process. So this particular feature has been one of the better features that I've experienced. But you're the one that actually designed this. What was the concept that you came up with and why you did this?
Yeah, the main reason was because we used this on an event game world. So Platform X is an event game world and you cannot pre-register there. So all the players have to find their normal association members. And this is made a lot easier if you start with 25 right away. Even if not all of your friends are playing, it's easier to connect to new players from the start. Without upgrading it. So the upgrade to the last level normally needs 2 or 3 eras, and this you don't have to do this for the members. So you can start with a big group of players from the start.
And what about the 4 headquarter levels you can unlock?
Yes. Headquarter levels, normally you have 15 for the 25 members, but this time they only are important to level for the workers. And so we still have headquarter levels, and upgrading it. You can have up to 4 workers. Normally you can just have 3, but this time you can have up to 4 workers. But the upgrade costs are quite expensive. But I think in the end, if you have a good association, it pays off.
I know a lot of the community are in a lot of our communication platforms, and they are always in their clusters of associations. So I know from just talking to the players that this is probably one of the most beneficial features that they could test. If any of their communications are to go by, a lot of them, from what I can see, are hanging out in 2s and 3s and 4s, and they talk about how the end game is really critical to them because of their associations and because of the people they have. So having something like this at the beginning would probably be extremely beneficial to them for kind of practicing their routines, their communication skills, and the end game. But I think more importantly, if you're like really experienced and you know these people that you play with, those initial steps will be able to be kind of over and done with more efficiently and more effectively because you have the option to talk to everybody straight away. So at least you all know where you're heading to from the get-go instead of figuring it out and then slowly coming together. But that's just one of our features. We have plenty of others, but one that I don't actually have, one that I don't have a screenshot of, is one that I think was specifically a feature that was specifically designed to work more with some of the other features that we have, where all the trains are now faster because of the tile length is being slightly reduced. So correct me if I'm wrong, it means that the tiles, the distance they travel is smaller, so it looks like they're faster. Is that correct?
So one tile now has the half the length, so the train needs half the time for one tile. So optically, it just looks faster because time for the smaller distance.
Okay.
So the train still has, for example, a top speed of 200 kilometers per hour, but it just looks faster on the map, and it's really faster. So the train doesn't need that much time to go from one city to the other, for example.
And that's, I think, from what I've heard from the community and from what I've heard from one of the people talking, it makes it kind of more beneficial for you in the later stages when you're doing long haul stuff.
Yes, so the waiting time is quite important now. So if the waiting time in the industry next to the cities is quite long, you can now look for other industries of the same type with a greater distance, and this will still maybe be better, or more often be better than just hauling from the nearest industry. And yeah, also it looks much more dynamic, and the trains are faster, especially at the beginning of the game with the first engines that are slow, so there's more action right from the start.
Yeah, I know what you mean about those slow engines at the beginning. The amount of times I've started in a game world and it just instantaneously on the restart, you're just like, oh yeah, oh god, yeah, they go really slow. Oh yeah. You get so used to having them at such a high speed, and then to now have that at the beginning it's a relief, I would say, definitely, to be able to finally see them straight away. Personally, I hope that it stays. I hope the community likes that enough for them to encourage us to maybe put it into the game worlds, but we'll see. And the next feature that we have is worker auctions now occur more frequently. But on top of that, some of the bonuses for some of the workers has been increased. And I know that there are a lot of workers, and you don't see all the workers here, but previously we put it on the blog. So if you go onto our website, you'll be able to see the blogs. Have a look at the last Platform X blog post, and in there you have a hyperlink to the full list of workers. Can't go through them here, but I know that some of the bonuses, the most notable ones that I remember was now this is where I'm gonna fail. One that begins okay, I'm giving up. I can't remember it. It was in my head a minute ago and it's gone. But I know that there are a lot, and this is another feature that's specifically meant to be working alongside, like, for example, the auctions have changed as well.
Yeah, so the auctions, this was also changed because we now have up to 4 worker slots, and I know that the players like the workers, so I wanted to give them a little bit more workers. So also the smaller associations can win them more often. And for the changes of the workers, I think the most obvious are the workers for the goods or passengers. So the effect was doubled for them, or even more. So it was 20% for the goods. So if you had 2 goods, and now it's 50. And for the passengers or for the workers for the goods, just 1 good, it's now 100%. So you get twice as much money if you have the worker. And this really makes a difference now. And 5 other workers were also changed, or they were all the effects were all increased.
I didn't know that you had some that literally had doubled that. I mean, that means some of the auctions are going to be really competitive now, surely.
Yes, but we chose the workers that normally aren't that attractive, and increased the bonuses for these ones, so that now all auctions are more competitive. So the good ones, like speed for the trains, they are already were already very attractive and competitive before. So we concentrated on the less attractive workers to make them. all workers.
Maybe those less attractive workers will now become the most desirable workers, especially if they do what you said you do, with doubling some of. That's a big change. That's a huge change. So I mentioned a minute ago that the worker auction had been increased previously, and ordinarily it's every 60 minutes on a classical service. Is that right?
No,
it's every 120 minutes
right.
on the classic service. But now it's been essentially halved. So now every 60 minutes you will have a new worker available to be bid on. Correct? That's the fact that you've got so many workers increased and essentially buffed, then the opportunity to get so many workers so often is definitely a benefit for those associations that just aren't necessarily huge but are active and small. And at least now everyone potentially has the option to get a new worker or one of the buffed workers. One of the other things, or another feature on here, was the amount that you can win, how much prestige you can now win. You know the calculation better than I do. Bruno's the one that does all the maths, so he's like a human calculator. But you can now, when you win, when your city wins, because of not just the winning but your connections, you can actually end up with 50k worth of prestige, and that is a big deal. I mean, you could do a lot with that.
Yeah, so before we had 5,000 prestige for just connecting the winning city, and 5,000 for being for the home city to win the end game, and now it's still 5,000 for connected, but we wanted to have the home city win, because this is one of the greatest achievements in Real Nation, and this is now 45 instead of 5,000 prestige. So in the end, if it's quite close in the single ranking, if your home city wins the end game, this might be the decider. Yeah.
Wow, that's I mean, I already envision. I mean, you saw the end games of the first round, so you can probably already get a good idea how competitive and how much of a difference that made. But I already envisaged that the more people that play, especially with the changes that we've made in the round 2, I think more players altogether, that is probably going to be a big decider for us. Yeah, I'd be interested to see the end of it. The next, we're in the map now, unfortunately. We're bringing up half of it because it's a bigger screenshot. But this one is, this feature is, there's been increases to both the licenses bonuses. So it used to be 10%, it's now 20%. And also there's the increase of the max workload for industry. It used to be, I think, 30? It used to be it used to be like 300%, and now it's 500%, right?
Right.
Now, admittedly, I am terrible when it comes to investing in my industries, but I know from the communications and the discussions that are going on in the city, this is probably one of the most important features to work alongside. For example, the increased speed for the trains.
Yeah, especially in the end game. So in the normal game, it's not very often that you reach the 300%, but I saw in the later eras, if a new good arrived, so many cities, or the good cities, managed to reach the 500%, which in the end it will lead to industries level faster, but the waiting times also increase, and the waiting times are already very high for 300%, but now for 500, it's for sure better to haul the goods from somewhere else than from the closest factory.
Yeah, I think endgame is probably that's going to be.
Endgame, it's 500%. If you don't manage to finish a good in 1 hour, it's always 500%.
Oof.
And now it's really important to connect at least 2 or 3 factories for the end game. Good.
I think everyone can do that, though. I mean, I say everyone, especially with these. It's really easy
because you get more money from worker boni and also from the licenses, for example. So 20% is a lot. So just make sure to get all these licenses, especially if you have the city good and you know that you will hold this good for the next 10, 20 or 30 hours, then of course you should make sure you get the license.
And you mentioned the licenses. That bonus is even more beneficial now, considering the amount that is now available. Like you explained this a lot better than me. The time is essentially doubled. The way it calculates, or the way it works out, is that the number of licenses available in the auction is the same, but it's doubled.
Yeah, it's doubled, but not always. It's a little bit difficult because so we do a calculation, and in the end we double it, because we made a change to double it, but it still can be, if the result would have been 0.4, then it's still 1. But for later eras, normally there are more than 1 licenses auctioned at the same time, and now this doubled. Maybe in the first era, sometimes it's still 1, so it's not really doubled, but in the calculation it's doubled. So
see, I told you, you and your calculations.
It's hard to explain, but you can be sure that there are more licenses available.
More opportunities, at least, and
especially for passengers. This is interesting in the later eras. So if there were maybe 5 at the same time before, now 10, and then it's easier to really get one.
Oh, I mean, I wish I had friends, because no one plays with me. Like, everybody I play with is they either work with me or they're part of my community management team. So I am the underdog of everybody that I work with, because obviously I've been here since December and I'm still getting the knowledge that you will never be. I'll never be able to keep up with you, Bruno. But I see these features, I see these opportunities, and they really do feel like if you play with a small group, you really do have a lot of opportunities available to you in Platform X compared to the Classic. And another one of those, especially if you're a new starter, is the bank limit. The bank limit has been increased. So initially on the Classic servers, for example, I know when you start, more often than not, you start and I'm reaching your bank limit really quickly, and then go and do something else, or you look up how to play this or how to play this better, and you wait for your income to come back so that you can do the next thing. Well, that's not so much of an issue anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the changes. I'm quite sure that will be transferred to the other scenarios, because everyone just benefits from it. If you start the game and you buy some engines and don't upgrade your bank 5 or 10 times on the first day, you will reach the bank limit quite fast. So in the first night, you probably reach it. And now this is lower now to reach the bank limit, so that you wake up and you still haven't reached the limit, so you can continue playing without any bad feelings.
More. Yeah, exactly. You do more within that period, the same period of time, which is, I know that when I played the first round, that was the thing that I instantaneously appreciated. More in the same amount of starting time, and then this one you kind of need to explain a little bit better for me, because it's the stock limit has been zeroed.
Yes, that's some kind of more experimental than the other changes. Just wanted to do something different this time. Normally only all the goods that have been in the city before, the stock is brought back to 33% after level up, and only the new good starts with 0 tons. And we decided to just the tons out of the stock when the city levels, so that you start from 0 with all the goods, and this is good for the
It's a new
players.
challenge, really.
Yeah, it's a challenge to be online when the city levels, because you can now make a lot of money, and no matter which good you will deliver. Probably still the new one is better because the waiting time is 0, but all the others are good as well, and this is some kind of reward for all the players helping the city to level. And also it makes the level up a little bit harder, but not as much as you think, because the hard part is at the end when the consumption really is important. But if you have just the consumption is not that important. So it sounds that it gets harder to level the city, but it doesn't impact on leveling. A higher impact on the money you get after city level.
Yeah, I was going to say. I noticed that was probably the zeroing of the stock after level up is one of the things that the community instantaneously had a discussion on. It's one of the ones that's kind of they don't say they don't like it. It's just it's a challenge, and anything that's new that's a challenge is always kind of something. It's just specifically there to work alongside all of the other features, and I think based on everything we've got, it's a good fit. You're getting all of these amazing bonuses that are increased, more workers, more licenses. The opportunities to get everything is increased, so why not throw in a bit of a challenge? And then the last feature is the amount of prestige that you get for competitions has been increased by 50%. And I never really get to the opportunity of playing, doing the competitions because everyone beats me, so I kind of gave up. So I still try, and I still try to get the most out of it, but I know there are players who are really competitive and players that will go above and beyond to take full advantage of this.
Yeah, this had a huge impact on the way people played the first round, because I played the first round as well, and for a long time I didn't do that many competitions, and the other players did much more competitions as well. I saw the prestige from competitions in the rankings increased, and also you were never alone. So on a classic server, there are some competitions where maybe you are the only one participating, but this time there were always 5 to 6
I was never on
players.
those classic servers when there's no one competing with me. I was always being out-compete.
So the competitions are really powerful now, and whenever you can, you should part in them.
For sure. I mean, especially if you're more experienced than I am and you play on a slightly busier game mode than I tend to always pick the really quiet ones, so but then someone still comes after me. So this is the overview, exactly this side. I'm never going to get used to that. So this is the overview of the features that you can actually experience in the second round of Platform X Titans of Economy. Those of you who've played round 1 have probably already noticed that there is one missing, and that one that was missing was removed because it was very apparent that there was some balancing, and no doubt when we get to the Q&A round there will be some questions about this, and Bruno will be happy to support me in making sure that we try and alleviate some of the questions that you get about the missing feature that isn't there. But in addition to that, what you don't see here is we are reducing the amount of servers that we had, and there was a very good reason for this. We are all the community knows that this time of the year there are less players playing, and because we had so many servers for Platform X Titans of Economy round 1, we found that the player base itself wasn't getting the full experience of what we intended with these features, because they were spread very far and wide across 6 servers. So we decided to give you a better opportunity to fully experience the intended gameplay that these features are offering. And this is why we have reduced the amount of servers from 6 down to 3. Those free servers mean that if you were on a server that isn't going into round 2, then the gold that you had from that round should, if I correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it has been made available within the last few days after the first round has finished. So you can keep your gold that you got from round 1, and you following the same rules that apply for the gold transfer process. You can transfer your gold freely, and you can transfer it to your corresponding region for the regions that are going into round 2, or wherever you want, provided it's following the gold transfer rules. So with that in mind, the server starts are actually from the 18th. So that's, wait, when is that? That's next week. Next week. So we'll start. The second round will be starting between the 18th and the 20th on those free servers. I will not try and pronounce any of them because I can do Rosen. Rosen's easy. Not so good with the German yet, Bruno.
Schrödinger.
Oh my god.
And the Russian, a little bit difficult for me as well.
No, I can't. I wish I could pronounce Russian, but German's already a difficult one. So if you want to join round 2 and experience some of these incredible features, and let us know how you're actually experiencing them, how you're using them, and how they're working for you. And who knows, if you like the features well enough, you may see them on some of our classic realms. And hopefully, my favorite one, where the trains go fast from the start, will make its way through, because I really like that one. But they're all of our features. Feel free to let us know in the Discord or on the forums, or I don't know, in our chat. Let us know the feedback that you have for if you did round 1 and you enjoyed some of those features, or any of those features that you didn't enjoy. Just let us know. Bruno is also hidden in many other places, so if there are feedback that comes in the Discord or comes in the forum, it's more than likely that Bruno will end up getting it. But it'll either be me sending it directly to Bruno, or it will be one of our community management team, or somebody else from Rail Nation will find it and send it directly to him. So there's no avoiding it, Bruno. Unfortunately, you're getting their feedback, so whether you like it or not. But that is our Platform X Titans of Economy features. I do hope you have the opportunity to play. And now we get into the fun part, Bruno. I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
I hope you're super ready. I get to introduce you to our wonderful community. We're going to take a few moments to get to know him and find out what he does, and ask him some questions, and Bruno will hopefully respond to my questions and not just sit there and ignore me, because that would be awkward. And then you can have a bit of an insight into what he does, and then after we've done that, we can do a bit of a Q&A session. Hopefully the community has some good questions. I can already see that there are quite a few questions for you ready and waiting, but we'll ease you into it, Bruno. And for the meantime, I will ask some questions to kind of like break you in like a horse. So my first question is a very easy question, and that is, how long have you been with the Rail Nation team?
Let me quickly calculate. So I started being with the Rail Nation team in 2012, so the end of 2012. So this is almost 9 years now, if I'm right.
Oh my.
And I started at the company in 2011, so about 10 and a half years now.
And you were literally there from the birth of such a wonderful game.
Yeah, almost. So I started with a FIFA manager at the beginning, and there were also already people working on Rail Nation, I think. So I'm not from the very start, but
close
before it went public, I was already working.
I didn't know that you were involved in the FIFA stuff, but that explains your football obsession.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense. It's all clear. if anyone has noticed, I have glasses and I can't actually see quite far. So the questions that I was meant to ask, that I put aside, I can't actually see, so I'm just shifting them around. Okay, great. So my next question for you is, what are your main responsibilities as a game designer? I mean, what is that for you?
Yeah, so the basic thing is, at the beginning of a new game, of course, is creating the rules, or writing concepts, doing all the math stuff, and
The math, yeah.
and also before, of course, you have to have an idea. But this is not necessarily the game designer, but often, which also is true for new features or something. So ideas, of course, from community, from other staff members, and
you can't underestimate the ideas that you come up with, though, because some of the stuff that in my time that I've been with the company, some of the creative genius that has come out of Bruno, he has a lot of ideas, but some of them you will never see because they're too crazy. But there are some that he has lined up that are so, I can't wait. Like he inspires me to get you guys excited, because some of the stuff that he comes up with is incredible. And yeah, I don't think people tell you that enough, Bruno. Some of your designs and some of your essential genius is very well appreciated by the community, and
hope so.
You have some very loyal and dedicated fans who the moment we change anything that you designed, they let us know that they don't like that you changed it.
Yeah, I know. But I really have to say that I think we have this meeting every 2 weeks where we talk about new ideas, and approximately 50% of these ideas come from the community. So they are at least as much as creative as I myself.
That's nice of you to tell them. I already know from some of the suggestions that I see on a daily basis from some of our regular people in the Discord and on the forums that they do have a lot of ideas, and it's nice to know that you are taking their ideas and starting with them and seeing what's possible and then maybe evolving them. So it's really good to know that you're listening to them. But can you kind of like describe what an average day for you looks like as a game designer?
Yeah, that's really a difficult question, because I can say that one day is or there are no two
days the same.
2 days the same. So every day is different, especially today. Like doing something like a live stream is not the typical day. But fun and exciting, of course. But normal, it depends on the day of the week. So we have meetings that we have sprints that last 2 weeks, and we have in these 2 weeks the meetings that are always the same. So a normal Wednesday in the first week of a sprint is pretty much the same every 2 weeks. So normally I would say, I start quite late. Normally, so between 9 and 10. And we have our daily stand-up with the whole team at 10 o'clock. So everybody says what he did yesterday and what he did today and what's working at the moment, so that everybody knows what to do and is up to date. And after that, it depends on the day. So the perfect day for me is if there are no meetings after that.
I think everyone's perfect day would be no meeting.
I think you don't have these days at all.
No, I never have those days.
I sometimes do have them, and then these are the days where I can really concentrate on writing new concepts, or have new ideas, or reading the Discord or the forum. And
I know from what I do on a daily basis that I have a tendency to like forward you stuff the community has designed or created, and then I ask for your feedback. Well, a lot of the time, if the community has a persistent question that's constantly being debated, I always kind of sneak it over to you to get you to give me a response. So a lot of the time, if I suddenly become really knowledgeable, it's not me. It's definitely Bruno. So I know in his day it's me harassing him and meetings, but those days that you do have those creative that creative time. If it's anything like me, if I'm on a thought process or I'm on a roll, having anyone break it is a nightmare. But I don't have that downtime. I'm very jealous of. It's just a day without meetings. Wow, I can't even imagine what that would look like. But knowing that you do have those days and the amount of time and energy that you put into Rail Nation, what would you say like your proudest thing that you've done, or your proudest achievement?
Also a difficult question for me because it always there are some phases in a feature or in every feature where you're proud. So at first, if you have a good idea, that's the first time you're a little bit proud. Then if you do the concept and you think it's good and other staff members also think it's good, and you present it to the community and they also like it, so then you are a little bit more proud already. But if the feature goes on the Ptr server or live and you can see it in the game the first time, oh sorry,
I was gonna say suddenly it's moving.
And you can play it, so that makes you proud. So especially when I started my first feature for FIFA Manager, when I saw it being in the game, something that I did, that was really great. Now I'm a little bit more routine, so the best moment is definitely when it's in the game and you can play it and the community likes it. So for example, we do surveys after that, and players like Platform X, Titans of Economy, for example, then you know that the community is happy with what you did, and that makes.
Oh, I mean, I can completely understand that. I mean, the amount of time and energy and testing and feedback and tweaking and critiquing that you would go through. I can imagine how proud it must feel to finally have something in the game, but not just in the game, but being enjoyed. I'm kind of jealous.
And
again.
Speaking about features, or first I will say Rail Nation, the game itself, and for features, it's always because I'm kind of the math
guru.
I like features like the winter event, for example, or also I was very proud of Europe when we released it, because scenario which was completely my own idea, and like all the Platform X servers where I can do whatever I want, or
well, within reason, Bruno.
Just change some things and look how it goes, and if it works out, proud of.
I like to be able to see some of the stuff that you come up with, because obviously I may not be part of that process in detail, but I'm there from the beginning all the way to the end. And it's nice to see how your ideas evolve based on the feedback that you're getting from the team and from the community. You also are involved with the ambassadors periodically, and you ask questions of them. I know that you have, prior to the ambassadors, you had like focus groups with some of our more regular players. But yeah, I like to watch your creations evolve into something that's playable as well. And sometimes it just gets really excited by some of the stuff. Like, for example, you have some stuff you're working on now that I cannot wait for you guys to see it. It's exciting stuff, and it's not fair that you keep all of that to yourself. So, oh my God, not fair, Bruno. Not fair. One of the things that I've noticed in working with you, I've noticed that you do have a lot of ideas. You do spend a lot of time thinking about ways to improve the game, listening to what's being fed back. What are your hopes and dreams, or your what you want for the future of Rail Nation? Like, what do you envision?
The first thing I really want to do is to bring in these improvements that I want to have all the time, and the community wants to have all the time. But as you know, or We had some technical work to do the last year, so for HTML5, now the mobile, the new mobile version, which of course they have to be done, and soon they will be finished, and then we can speed up with improving the game again and bringing all these good ideas into the game, and I'm looking forward to personally, because of course as a game designer you always want to improve the game and see your ideas in the game, and that can get faster again.
I can't wait for that day that we don't have any technical issues. All the bugs are fixed. The community is excited and ready for every time we do an announcement, and then we can just fill the game with all of the things that they want. Can't wait for that day. Don't know when it will come, but I got my hopes up.
It's more likely for the day to come.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely more likely now. I have another question for you that you had no idea was coming. Oh yeah, I'm throwing them at you now. And my question is, if you could create any game that you wanted, any genre, any style, any theme, what would your dream game be? Football trains.
Football and trains combined. Maybe like Rocket League with trains.
Ooh, I'd play that.
I kind of like all tycoonish games. But I also have been thinking of a lot. Is a game that combines maybe trains and trucks and planes all in
like
one game.
Complete transport.
Like transport.
Yeah, I've been lost in simulators and transport simulators.
I think this is also something that maybe realistic for relation in the this one of the games I would like to.
A multi-transport tycoon game. That would be a game that people would lose their entire free time to. You'd blink and you'd go from 30 to 40 and like you'd be gone. As well as my bank balance would cry. Just the thought of that game. It takes my money. I don't know how long it would take to develop something like that, but it would be interesting to see. But they're all the questions I have for you, Bruno. We now have a very active chat right now. So I know that there are loads of you who are dying to ask Ian. Keep trying to call you Ian. Because one of my gaming buddies is called Ian, and I consider you my buddy, Bruno. So this is why I keep calling you Ian. So yes, there are a number of you who are desperate to ask Bruno some questions, and we would like to give you the opportunity to do so. So if you have any questions, I will also get the Discord up if you aren't in the chat. So if you are in general chat in the Discord, feel free to type in there, or you can type in the chat on the stream, and Bruno will answer your questions. Again, you can ask your question in German, because Bruno knows German, and if it's a reasonably short answer, Bruno can respond in German, but Bruno will respond in English, and we will try and get some of your questions translated for the highlight video. So a little bit. Let me have a check and see what some of the questions have already been asked. Bruno's trying to peer over the top of a light, a monitor. Have a look. I'm being waved at by some of the community. Is this a question? It's very German.
This is not a question.
Okay.
One question from App Ptr.
Okay.
But I won't answer this one.
It's German. I can't read it. I trust your opinion.
It's möglich.
Oh, okay.
But it's not related to the game.
So many.
Maybe we can start it.
Very well, I see. I asked already a question during the live stream. Do I need to post them again? Yes, ideally, if you can post them again, it means that I don't have to go ahead and scroll all the way up to the top of the screen, because we do have a lot of screens open right now. I don't want to lose your questions. So if you have a question, just type it directly into the chat for the stream. Here we go. Here's a nice question. Reviving Truck Nation integrated into Rail Nation.
I don't even know if you still...
No, I wasn't here.
You don't know
I was not here. There is a giant poster on the wall in one of the rooms, and it just says Truck Nation. And I'm so intrigued, but don't know anything about it.
It was developed by another team, so some of our team, people that are working for Rail Nation now, worked on Truck Nation as well, but I didn't. But Truck Nation being integrated into Rail Nation, so it won't be the same as Truck Nation, but nobody said that we will do this game, but if we do, I think it wouldn't be Truck Nation, but might be trucks.
So like a multi-transport tycoon game with trucks and trains. I mean, I don't know anything about Truck Nation, but it would be interested to play that. Was it an enjoyable experience at least?
Yeah, it was quite similar to Rail Nation, but it was a little bit more on the dark side, so you could...
On the dark side?
You could...
How can a truck game be dark?
You could destroy other players and do illegal things, and yeah, but it's years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, that is pretty dark. Destroying other players. That's definitely not like Rail Nation. I can imagine the fallout.
Peaceful, friendly game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Will some or all of these platform exchanges come to Steam over Europe?
I hope so. If you remember, in the first Platform X, what was it called?
Working Class
Heroes, right? We had this prestige for deliveries to industries, and this is now on all the other scenarios, so on Steam over Europe as well. Which features we will take into the other scenarios depends on the feedback of players. We have a survey at the moment live, and I already saw the first results. It looks like many of the features, that you like many of these features, and yeah, I'm quite sure that some of them will be in the other scenarios as well, not only Steam over Europe, but all the others. Not all probably, but some.
I mean, I still hope that the fast trains will go everywhere. There's just something about seeing your trains moving really quickly and then coming back really quickly and not having to work your way up to seeing them move fast. Like, something about that. There's a random question here, and that is, does Pierre have a mustache in her avatar? Is that the train spotter? The train spotter image?
No, she doesn't have a train spotter, but as far as I know, she often has a mustache.
Not a real mustache. Pierre doesn't have a mustache.
In her avatar pic.
Yes. I think
so in the Rail Nation avatar, with the Rail Nation avatar, because there's also, she has a female avatar, but there's a nose with a mustache as a avatar item, and I think she always uses this one.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
Maybe she's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same in our Zoom calls. She's the first person to try out all the cool filters and have a mustache. I don't know. Maybe we can get a Secret Santa gift for Pierre.
There's
a question about Salt Lake Salty in Salt Lake. Well, we're returning to the US servers again.
I thought we added Salty to the lake near Salt Lake City while ago. Yeah, maybe he doesn't exist. City chat. Oh, chat is meant. There's bugs regarding the chat.
Yeah.
Especially for mobile.
I know the ambassadors are also highlighting the bugs that they have in the chat. It has been brought to the workshop, the first workshop. I think they are currently in the process of selecting the next votes, and I think the next bugs for the votes actually also include another chat bug that they are experiencing. I know recently as well, with the technical issue that we've been having with the CDM, some players were experiencing more problems with the chats, but that's been resolved. So yeah, I know chat is for sure definitely a topic. Chats on forums.
Yeah,
a big one.
Yeah. After finishing the mobile version, there's a greater chance to be fixed. And the mobile chat.
You have a question here. Will you be adding an in-game translation function?
Yeah, we thought about that already once, but not in the near future.
I know that we have such a broad community, very multilingual people, and it's clear which servers are the most active in which regions. But for say for example, the international servers, a multi in-game translation tool would be a benefit. I'm not entirely sure of the energy and time and how easy it would be to put in, and yeah, I can see the need for it, but understand completely the effort it would take and how feasible or unfeasible it might be. See what else? We are reading through your questions that we've got. Some of them are buried amongst everything else, so I'm just making sure that we don't miss any. Nation. I don't know what that says.
If there's a bonus code at the end of the
I don't know. Not be. You'll have to figure it out, right? You'll have to stick around and find out to see. Is this a question? The possibility to donations in part.
For the headquarter, yeah, it's not that easy to change, and the last level is really just for the fourth worker, and must be expensive because very beneficial for the association. So you have to pay for this a lot of money to balance it. And I think the good associations, they are capable of spending 50 million.
Oh yeah, I could spend it quite easily. That's just me playing on my own. Good associations definitely would be able to do a better job than I would. I'd just waste it on terrible things. Which of the PX changes would you want to see go to the normal servers or the classic servers? Which one do you like the most, and which ones are you?
Yeah, I think most of them, but some like the 0% instead of 33. This is more like a special change for the PX version, just to change the game a little bit, but this is not meant to be on a regular server. I think all of the other changes they could make it.
All of them? You don't have one in particular that you really want?
Yeah.
Like me and my fast trains.
Fast trains, yeah. I'm also a big fan of that from the start. So this is I always wanted to change this. This is, I think it's my favorite change as well. Also the more prestige for the end game win. The bank limit for me is it's a no-brainer to change that. Maybe it's something like the licenses, as I already read. There was a little bit too much money on the server for some of the experienced players. Yeah, and this is also something I wouldn't change on a normal game world. But as Titans of Economy says, there was just a little bit more of everything for the players.
I think if it wasn't for the issues we experienced, I would have liked the feature that we had removed this day, but it's completely justified from that one being removed. There's a question there. Which is your favorite scenario? Our classic Europe, American Dream, or Origin Journey?
It depends, but I would say Steam over Europe. As I said before, this was the first one that was. American Dream was also. I also worked on American Dream already, but this wasn't only my idea, and I took so many ideas from the community for Steam over Europe. So like they always wanted to have a mayor, and we introduced that, and also the region fight and the realistic map, and so that's my favorite scenario. But also like to play the others, and especially Platform X, because that's always something new, and it's always exciting how it works.
I didn't get the opportunity to play the first Platform X, but I heard...
But you will play the second.
Yes, exactly. I already did. I was in... You didn't notice it, but I was on the same server as you. I was in your association for the first round, and you didn't even notice me. Because I don't speak German. Yeah, exactly. I didn't speak German, so everyone was speaking German. I was like, "Hi guys, I'm just here." Oh, Bruno, hi. And that was it. I didn't really get very far because I'm working on the mindset of if I expose myself enough to German whilst living in Germany, my German will improve. But it's not working out very well.
Yeah, right, because the first round I played on the German server, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the second round...
You play on a round that I can understand? You can help me?
We can play on the international server?
Yeah. I'll play on the international
next week on Wednesday?
18th, yeah, on the 18th, yeah. Yeah, I'm down for that, yeah, for sure. We can both play on the international one and see how far I get without getting really upset from not winning any competitions. Will bonus codes be available on iOS systems in future? I don't know. I don't know for sure. I mean, this is the thing. The technical aspect of the game, like the back end stuff or the mobile development stuff, Bruno and I have very minimal knowledge on that. But I do know that the development of the mobile app at the moment is heavily just a focus on making sure it operates on HTML5. And I know that they do have plans to implement a lot of the bug fixes and try and improve it. But the first stage and the first priority is to make sure that the game is operational on HTML5, because we had this with browser and now we need to make sure it's definitely happening for mobile too.
But I think also Apple didn't allow to have bonus codes.
Yeah.
Don't know if that changed.
Maybe.
We have experts for stuff.
Exactly, and neither of those are us. Will there be a poll to vote on the new feature? I don't think there's a poll. It's a survey, right?
Yeah, there's a survey at the moment, and all the features can be scored, and depending on the results, yeah, we will decide which features we will keep. Friday, as I saw the first results of the survey, I think it started last week, and almost all the features were very. Yeah, the chances are good.
It won't be a poll, but it'll be a survey. So if you haven't, how does everyone get that survey? Is it emailed out to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you check your inbox, maybe if it's not in your inbox, in your spam, but you will have an invitation to do the survey if you've played the first round of Platform X.
Even if you haven't.
Even if you haven't?
Everybody, yeah.
Wow, okay. So yeah, check your emails and fill out that form. There won't be a survey, but there won't be a poll, but there'll be a survey. Another question here. What game features do you like most in Steam over Europe? Also, are you playing more in browser or in mobile?
I'm playing both, especially on the weekend. I prefer playing mobile. But if I'm here in the office, I play on browser. Favorite features? Yeah, I would say the region competition, or the regions. My favorite feature on Steam over Europe. What I like.
I think I'm unfortunate in that my phone is so rubbish it can't run any game. So as much as I want to play it on mobile, I have no chance. Like, I just have to play on browser, which is fine because you can technically play on browser on mobile, just launching the browser in mobile. So by proxy, I'm playing. I've had a question from the Discord, and that is, will there be an App Ptr? I think we've had a beta, right?
Yes, there's a beta, but you have to, if you do that, you can't play on a live game world at the same time with the same phone at the moment, because we have two different versions. Can do that, and this would help us a lot. But I think that you can't play the game anymore your phone.
Yeah, that was it. I remember correctly now. If you wanted to play in the App Ptr, you had to essentially forfeit your normal avatar to be able to play it. So it was, from what I remember, it was people who played previously had been invited, and then it was promoted somewhere, and I can't remember where. But there has been kind of a PTR, but it was a beta. And it's been tested by some of the players who are in the same Discord as the PTR Discord. So you might be able to find out more information on there if you're in the PTR Discord. Somebody's asking, it's not really a question, I suppose it kind of is a question, and that is they're saying that they hardly ever get to play competitions. And that they have to be live, and very often goods need to be in that comp don't match the cities they need. So they really like a feature where they can plan the schedule ahead of time and change this time automatically when they're offline.
Yeah, that's also an idea we had years ago already, and it was very hard to do this feature. Because you have to plan in the future, and it's also built in UX and how you do it. And we also want you to play the game so that you come online and change your schedules and not do it once a week and then everything's automatically. But for the competitions, I totally understand that. Especially if you have competitions at night, you can pre-register, but then the trains still don't hold the goods you need.
Yeah.
So you really would need a feature like that. Say, okay, at 2 a.m., please change all the schedules to Wood to Salt Lake City or something, because there's a competition. We still have the idea. It's complicated, but yeah, I also would like to have like that.
Yeah, I think.
But I cannot promise this to be the next features we implement. But
I don't know if you've played EVE Online ever. Well, that's
no,
good.
No, I didn't.
That's good. You haven't lost your life to spreadsheets. That's good. That's good. Yeah, if you played EVE Online, this is a similar situation. They have auction competition. They have a companion app, and I always thought that Rail Nation would be a good fit for like a companion app. I don't know how hard it would be to develop something like that, but.
Yeah, but you have the normal Rail Nation app, so you can just
do it on
log
your phone?
in, you can log in, you can change your schedule, and you can do the competition.
Yeah, there is that. I forget that.
You cannot sleep anymore, but you can win the competition.
I know there's some really die-hard people who will play until like no sleep, zero sleep. I know when we changed the video limit, for example, some people genuinely expressed that this is going to upset their routine because they're used to on certain days just no sleeping, getting up. I mean, it's probably the best reason for limiting it, making sure that we have healthy sleeping routines and we stay awake, we stay asleep, and don't get sick from overplaying. There's a question in the Discord. I have to read it. It's a bit of a long one. Era 6 and the end game are for many quite boring. As they don't level as much as they can, and in endgame it's mostly complete for maybe 1 to 4 cities. Is there any chance of improving it?
Yeah, this is also one of the changes for Platform X, Titans of Economy, or it was already in the Working Class Heroes, and we didn't talk about it. There's a change that the amount of tons you have to deliver in the end game depends on the city, on the first city in the ranking. So there's no on the level of the first city for the end game, and so there's no need to slow down in the end. So if you reach level 60 with your city, so all the other cities also have to deliver more. So no need to do your best in Era 6. And the other question was about the end game. Why?
What can you do to make it?
This is hard to say, but normally you see maybe in Era 3 the first, or maybe earlier, the first players start moving in better cities, and in Era 5 or 6 you see which are the best cities, and so everybody joins these cities because
they want to be in the top
chances
ranking,
are the best. And and if all the good players are in the top 4 cities, so the 5th city won't have a good chance to win. We tried to do some changes in the past, but in the end, if the players move like that,
it's hard.
It's hard, but I still prefer to have a nice competition between 3 or 4 cities than have a boring competition between 10 cities. And it's as the game is the players, how they act, the game changes a lot, and as long as the players play as they play, it will be impossible that 10 cities will fight for the win. But I like to have a game that is so much depending on the players, compared to a game that sets orders everywhere and the players can do what they want.
Yeah, I understand. One of the suggestions was maybe delaying the start of the last, so that for example, for those who want to start later on.
The end game? Because of the time in the afternoon. Good idea. it's always the same time as the server starts on day one, but we could also change the starting time of the server. But no matter when you started, there are always players that
the same limitations, the same.
And if you start later, so the other cities will start even later, and they cannot start on the first day maybe. So I think 2 p.m. is the normal time, but depending on time zones and so on, I think this is a good starting time.
We are getting close to the end of the stream, so we'll just take 1 or 2 more questions. Some that have just come up now. I can answer this one. Will there be any live meetings between players and the Rail Nation team? Technically, they already do happen. It's just that you don't necessarily hear about them because they are kind of like prior to the ambassadors program. There were little focus groups and little onboarding and little sessions that were being held with our onboarding specialist called Bernhard, and he would regularly have these meetings to get feedback and comment on features that were potentially coming out. We still have these, and they still happen when we have a new feature or a new thing. I can't really say it. But when we have stuff, we do have these live meetings between the team and the community. Currently what's happening every month now, because of the ambassador program, Bruno and some of the key people within the Rail Nation team actually do have regular meetings with the ambassadors to discuss the bugs. We have our second one in August, and once the community has voted on their bugs, they'll be discussing those topics there. The long-term plan with those ambassadors as well is to not just talk about bugs, because, bugs. If we're always talking about bugs, at some point you're just going to be going around in circles with the same slight deviations of the same topics. So the long-term plans are to also do maybe feature focus groups with the ambassadors, and everyone is open to apply to be an ambassador when we open up the ambassador program application windows. And I know that we have one opening very soon, so if you want to be an ambassador, feel free to apply. I think it opens on Wednesday the 11th. Wait, what day is it? Yes, Wednesday the 11th. I'm not keeping track of any time anymore. One of the other questions is, oh wait, I mean real life meetings at Gamescom, for example, so like face to face.
Yeah, we already had this one.
Yeah, we did. I wasn't here for that, but I've seen it. Yeah, I know I have plans to do something like this, where I kidnap Bruno and put him in the back of my car and force him into Gamescom. He doesn't know this yet, so you've kind of given the game away.
You can walk to the Gamescom, you don't have to pay.
Yeah, I'll take him against his will, throw him into the hall and say, Bruno's here. No, we do have, truly though, we do have, I have plans to eventually bring back the potential to meet some of the team in person. That's way into the future. It's not anytime soon, and I have to kind of let them know well in advance, but it's not off the table. It's definitely a potential thing that could happen in the future.
Yeah, if there's a Gamescom.
if COVID ever allows us to have Gamescom again. Oh man, I don't want to be in the house anymore. I'm tired of COVID. And then I'll take this last question for you here, and that is, will there be a new Orient Express script? Orient Express script? You mean scenario?
Like that.
Yeah.
Hard to say anything about that.
We don't know.
We don't know at the moment. Maybe I can answer the Alexandra's
Alexandra had a
question.
question. I didn't even see that.
Because we had the topic before. If it's not, or if it wouldn't be possible to start all the Metropolis at the same time. when we started with Real Nations, we had this, but this led to performance issues. But now we don't have these problems that big anymore. So possible for the future to maybe not at the same time, but maybe to reduce the gap between the cities starting. Yeah, a good idea, because I didn't think about that for a longer time, but
maybe we're having a look.
Idea, yeah.
That was a good. Maybe make a note of that. Do you have pen and paper?
No,
no. It's fine. I'll go through the VODs and I'll remember. But that's all the question. That's all the time we have for questions. So it is now time to go on to our special announcement. That I've been trying my best not to mention it, because I keep looking at the screen and seeing them hiding behind you, and almost let it slip a number of times. But if you can see behind Bruno, we have some stuff that's sat on the shelf there. Would you like to get that down and show everybody?
So yeah, we have even more.
And we have even more. So essentially, the announcement is in the coming weeks. I don't know for sure. I don't know the specific date, but we'll let you know when it happens. We will be officially releasing our merch store, and soon you'll be able to buy some very interesting and very, very desirable items, such as what Bruno is going to show you here, which is a collection of pins. So we have a Rare Nation pin, a legendary pin, and we have a full. Oh, great. Oh no, lights don't fail me now. Some nice pin sets, and that specific pin set, I believe, is some of our most desirable achievements in game as well. So this, I know personally that I want that pin set, and the marketing guy isn't getting that back. You're not getting it back, Daniel. It's mine now. And we also have other stuff such as this. We have a wonderful mouse mat, which Bruno is now showcasing. I like that design. I keep telling the team that made these that I want them on socks, because I reckon they would make good socks. Yeah, exactly. And then behind Bruno, if you take it off the shelf and show everybody our wonderful duck, and yes, the duck, we have a little mascot, a little rubber duck, and he's in a conductor's outfit. He's a conductor.
Duck.
That wasn't me that came up with that. I didn't. I'm shamelessly stealing it from our marketing team. But he's a rubber ducky in a conductor's outfit, and then behind Bruno on the other side is a collectible train, an acrylic train stand. This that we're showing you here is just a small sample of what's going to be available when the merch store finally launches, and it will be in the next few weeks or so, in the coming weeks. I don't know the official date, but it's definitely something that I would 100% recommend you to. I also have this lovely shirt that I'm wearing. I know it's not very clear, but it's got the Rail Nation logo here. Bruno is also wearing a very fetching shirt. It's one of our. I want Bruno's shirt. And not his specific shirt, but I want Bruno's design for myself, because I really like that design. But these are just a sample of what potentially could be available on our upcoming merch store. Yeah, that's our nice little announcement that we have, and obviously there are quite a few of you hanging around and have made it all the way to the end of our stream. And as we did in the last stream, I would like to thank you all in my own special way. Look at them. I am already anticipating they're all sitting waiting, by giving you all a bonus code. And Bruno, you'll be pleased to find out that the bonus code is named after you.
Whoa.
Your bonus code today, Bruno.
What an honor.
I know, right? So again, thank you everyone who has been watching. There is a wonderful bonus code available to those who have been watching. It's only available for the next hour, just the same as we did with the previous one, as a thank you for you sticking around and joining us on the stream. Bruno's second stream? You did one before? A very long time ago.
A long time ago I did some.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd celebrate by making you a bonus code. So is that the first time you've ever been turned into a bonus code?
I think, yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. So this is available to everybody who has been watching the stream, and it's only available for the next hour. Claim it whilst you can. But yes, I think that's pretty much it from us. There is one question that's just sneaked in, and that's what can the stream viewers do if they have an iOS or are at work and don't have access to the computer before the code expires? Oof, that is a difficult one. Well, we need to redeem the code before it expires in the next hour. So unfortunately, you can do what I do on the mobile. Just use a browser and go into the browser and redeem it.
Just start the game at work, or to risk that you are fired. But maybe it's worth it.
Do it under the table. Go to the toilet. That's what I do. But yeah, this is it's pretty much it from us for today. We do intend to do more of these. Bruno was the first in this Meet the Rail Nation team series. It will be a series. The plan is to get more and more people to do exactly the same as what you did today, answer questions, get to know them. But this is Bruno's taking the first plunge. You're the first person to do it. I would be interested to know who at the Rail Nation team that you would like to have on next. There are a number of people that I am thinking about getting to join me on the next stream, but I would like to pick somebody that maybe you would be interested in. I mean, not saying that they weren't interested in you, Bruno. They were very interested in you, and it's brilliant to have you here. But yeah, that's it from us. Make sure that you take some time to join us for us on Rosen, the international server, for round 2 of Platform X. I will be hiding, getting upset about losing competitions. Bruno will be telling me how to play the game properly. Don't forget to give us your feedback about how you're enjoying the features of Platform X, because Bruno's eager to know that his work is paying off and that you're all enjoying it. And don't forget to redeem your codes, and we'll look out for more information from us for the upcoming merch launch. More information soon. But yeah, for now, it's a goodbye from me, and have a good evening, everyone, and bye from Bruno, I guess.
Bye from me as well, and I hope to see all of you on the Platform X Titans of Economy servers for the second round.
Yep, from the 18th to the 20th. Okay. Yes. See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.